Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nails and Beauty Talk. I am your host, Asia the Bird. To have a very special guest with me today. She is a salon owner and nail artist. Please welcome Kristen Valdez. Hello, Kristen. Welcome to the show.
Asia, thanks for having me.
You are so welcome. So I want to go ahead and start this interview by asking about where you're originally from and how'd you get started into the nail industry?
Sure. So I'm originally from Hayward, California, which is just right across the San Mateo Bridge here in San
Mhm.
Francisco. And I was just looking for a nail tech who could do my nails. I had a bad experience at a salon that I was going to. I broke a nail and
Mhm.
she put it on and it fell off like maybe less than 24 hours later. And I let her know and she was like, "You have problem nails." And I'm like, "Whoa." I was like, "Problem nails? What does that even mean?" So I was just on the hunt to find like a better nail artist, and I ended up finding Mia at Sparkle San Francisco, and then inspired by her, um, and just how she was able to create her own business, even while still working full time,
Mhm.
and just started talking to her and asking her, I was like, "How do I get into this?" And I have a background in design and art.
Mhm.
Um, actually be like a really good fit to move forward in this. And she was like, "Just go to school and everything else is just continuing education."
Mhm.
Um, Almost 8 years ago,
Mhm.
uh, offered me a chair right before I graduated. And I was at Sparkle for several years before I branched out on my own. So
Okay, that's really cool. Now, in terms of art and design, what's like your whole thing in terms of art and design? Is it illustration? Is it digital art?
So it's a combination of things. So I started out, obviously, I would say I honed in on my skills in high school. I got accepted into Oakland School for the Arts.
Mhm.
And after that, I ended up going to FITM for a year
Mhm.
and was more so in marketing and branding. So combining illustration and marketing and branding, and also learning how to use the tools for graphic design. I've just kind of combined that all together, and it's landed me here.
Oh, that's cool. That's really great. That's kind of the same with me. Like I got into art like when I was like in second grade, and then like in high school, that's where I really took it a lot more serious. And then I got into Savannah College of Art and Design, which is in Savannah, Georgia. So I majored in illustration, minored in fibers. So fibers entails like yarn work and understanding textiles and things of that nature. So that's kind of the same with me. And also I got my cosmetology license in high school. So that's the entire thing with that. Now, in terms of like your art style, how can you describe your art style?
I would say it's really illustrative and playful.
Mm.
Um, I love being inspired by other artists, obviously, like other illustrators. I wouldn't say it's always the most feasible to put on nails with the time frames that I have.
Oh, right.
Best. And oh, sorry, it's my dog taking a nap. Um, so yeah, I I love the way that like art plays off of the nails too. For a while, when I first started doing art, I always had at least two fingers either on my hands or my client's hands, where you put them together and they create like a character.
Right.
Violet was like a pineapple, so like pineapple body, and then you put your index nail on top, and it's the pineapple top. So just like
Oh, okay.
very, yeah.
Okay, very playful. That's really cool. Now, in terms of like favorite nail artists, who would you consider as your favorite nail artist?
Oh my gosh. So Astro Wifey is definitely one. She's somebody that I've always absolutely admired. Nails by May is another
Mhm.
person I absolutely truly admire and would love to get my own nails done by her one of these days. Like
Yeah,
if I ever
right.
work, and if she ever has an opening. And then Spifster, of course,
Mhm.
flawless, flawless. I would say those are my top three.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I heard of Spifster, Nails by May, and also Astro Wifey. Yeah, they're really cool nail art, especially Nails by May and Spifster. Spifster, I like with her, she has a very individual style. And that's what I like about like that graffiti abstract style. May has like that manga Japanese style, like, that fits with her culture. So, we have some really cool nail artists from around the world that has their own individuality. Now, I want to get into salon ownership. So you have your own salon called NOMA, and I want you to talk about your own salon and especially the services that you offer, and also to like what pieces of advice would you give for someone who wants to own their own salon?
Okay, well, I'll start with the piece of advice for owning your own space is have all of your finances in order.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Decided to branch off on my own right at the beginning of the pandemic before we shut down because I had literally paid off all of my debt. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I feel like the start of something new. Like I don't even have to pull out a loan of any kind. And I just felt like I had everything in order.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so that's my biggest advice is to have all your finances in check and make sure that like you actually have some sort of cash flow coming in. I've already had a clientele built up for several years, so it's not something I had to really worry about as far as income and maintaining my business. Um, I'm sorry, that was a lot of questions all in one. Um, sorry, what else did you want me to talk about?
So talking about like your whole salon and what it's about, because I know it's called Nails of Modern Art. So I want you to talk about like what made you name your salon that? Like what was so unique about like naming it that?
Um, I've always had a huge respect for obviously classic artists and
Mm-hmm.
started looking for like a name that would be a little bit catchy rather than just being like Nails by Kristen or something like that. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but with my with my background in marketing and design, I wanted something catchy. So I came up with Noma Nails initially, and then I just changed it to SF NOMA because I was like, you know what? Eventually, everybody will associate this with me doing nails and will
Mm-hmm.
understand, um, it's nail based. And then also too, just the fact that the MoMA houses all of like modern artists. I thought that was a fun play on that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, instead of it just being Noma Nails, it became SF Noma. And so that's where
Okay.
that. And then my salon is is this huge reflection of me. Um, like I'm a 13-year-old going on 30 because I still shop at Claire's. I love everything there. And my salon is very colorful and reflects a lot of the things I like to put into my art. So color, design, and just energy and vibration and being able to encompass all of that onto my clients' nails and
Mm-hmm.
any and they're just like, you know what? It's just such a happy place. I even have like smiling faces on a lot of my surfaces. So whatever look in, it sparks joy. Um, and that's what nails have done for me. And that's where it started for me was that they sparked joy. And I love everybody else. Um, and then going back to like my style, it's very illustrative and playful. And that's also represented in my salon space and as well as what I offer.
Oh, that's cool. I like that play with the name, like Nails of Modern Art. Like it's kind of like the Museum of Modern Art, where you have a lot of these classical artists, ranging from Da Vinci or Caravaggio. A lot of these artists that I've learned, especially in college. And even with my style, like, it's kind of the same with yours, like very fun, playful, and also mine is like kind of like this abstraction. I like to play with like line work and things of that nature. So I think that's really cool that you've named your salons something that's so unique and everything. Now, I want to get into marketing and selling yourself. So, what pieces of advice would you give for someone who wants to sell themselves, especially like their nail art, how to market themselves, especially on social media?
If you are just starting out, like say for instance, just starting nail school, do your own nails. Do your nails, do your family members' nails, do your friends' nails, because they are your walking billboard.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody sees your work on someone else, the more they're going to ask.
Right.
And basically how you start with a following. I remember when I got like my first 100 followers and I was like, oh my God, I have like 100 people following me. This is great.
Yeah.
And then, you know, 1 year it shot up to like 17,000. I'm just like, okay, I have like this many people who are like watching me now. And it's really all
Right.
just, and you know, it extends to people who are maybe more present online where they'll give you a shout out. You know, connecting with other artists too in your area, especially like say for instance myself, I'm no longer taking clients and I haven't for quite some time. So I
Mhm.
always still accepting and I connect with them and make sure that you know, I send people to them too, because I'm like, I can't take on any more people and I want to see you grow as an individual and watch you thrive in this industry. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's most definitely like, it's important to really market yourself and market the work that you do. I think that's totally important if you want to gain a clientele, and especially adding those hashtags of where you're from. Like for example, I'm in the DC area, so I say DMV nail artist or something like that. So especially if I own a salon, and of course I don't own a salon, but I'm just saying as an example. So in terms of within the whole nail scene in California, specifically San Francisco, how could you describe the nail scene within San Francisco?
um I would say let's see, it's changed a lot within like the last 2 years alone. um I would say within the last 2 years, it's become a little bit more minimalist. And
Mm,
you still see some people who want a bit more than just um, these, how do I describe it? Like, yeah, these minimalist designs is what I've seen
hmm.
late. And I see it starting to come back to being a little bit more avant garde, which I'm
Right.
excited because that's where I feel like my talents definitely lies. Like, you know, the more the better as far as nail art goes.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, as far as like the scene here in San Francisco, it's definitely minimal right now, but trending more towards being a little bit more avant-garde again.
Okay, that's really, really cool. Now, what is your whole perspective on the nail education system?
Um, I personally think that there should be more,
Hmm.
but not. Um, I feel like it's not as accessible to everyone, um, just because, well, one, because of COVID right now.
Mm.
Um, Still very cautious here in the Bay Area. You know, it's still required that you wear masks indoors. I still prefer everybody to wear a mask to their appointment. Um, and I think one-on-one classes like in person have really taken a toll. As
Mm.
far as you know, the pandemic has gone like for the last couple of years now, and nobody's really offered any more like big group classes because it's just not everybody feels safe to do that anymore. In
Hmm.
space, especially here like in the Bay Area. It's hard to find like a large enough venue space for people, but also people feeling safe to come in. And I do my best, obviously, with anybody who reaches out to me for training and education, as long as they, I'm more than happy to teach them in person. I've had a couple people come in within the last couple months,
Mm.
um, and it really is such like a different experience versus taking like an online class. Me personally, I tried to take a couple online courses just for nail art from other nail techs like over the course of our shutdown,
Hmm.
and my attention span sucks. when it comes to like trying to learn something online. Like I'm very hands-on. I'm like, I want to be able to hold and feel and
Right.
see and everything that I want to learn. So yeah, that's where that's at right now.
Okay, yeah, most definitely. I can definitely agree because you want to have those physical classes where, people can see what you're doing and how to correct it. Online it's a little harder. That's like with like in college or any type of like schooling. If you do online, it's not in person, and you can't really go to a professor or the teacher maybe, for help, or they won't be able to be there with you to correct what you do wrong, and you would have to just email them, in terms of, getting help.
Yeah.
And the thing is with the nail education system, I think, yeah, I believe also it could be better because I think, of course you get a certain amount of hours you have to do, but it's not necessarily enough to where you have a lot of expertise and a lot of preparation for the nail industry, especially owning a salon and having a studio and things like that. So I think that could definitely be improved in things like that.
Yeah, I definitely think there should be a chapter on like how to start your business and how to run it. Just starting in general, not just like coming into a salon and renting a booth. There should definitely be more guidance on how to start your own space and how to thrive in that as well. So,
Yeah, most definitely. Now, what is your whole take in terms of like, what is your advice also for how to handle different clients and trying to achieve what they want, while maintaining your style?
um, well, I mean, let's see. If you're just starting off and building, you're also still developing your own style.
Mm,
Uh, as you progress, I've always said like year 3 in doing nails has always been like the time where you really start to explore and create your own style. And so for me, it's always been like instead of asking my client if they have something in mind for today, I always say like, hey, I've got something, can I do this? um Most of the time, because we've established a relationship over the last couple of years, like they're totally down for it because they know it's going to be something that you can't find online or that nobody else has done. um and so that's my advice for anybody trying to put their style on their clients and to make them more accepting of what you want to do, is to come to them first rather than asking them if they want something. So
mm. Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. Now, in terms of with fashion nails, nails have been big in the fashion industry as of late, for the past few years, where a lot of fashion designers collaborate with nail artists, like doing these cool nails for the fashion collections, for example, C&D and the Blondes. You have people like Nails by May, Naomi Asuda, some other nail artists that have collaborated with fashion designers and worked in Fashion Week, like doing nails for Fashion Week, Nails by Mimi. And so what is your whole take in terms of just fashion nails just coming together and being a whole fashion statement?
um I think it's incredible. It's not just a lifestyle for um your average woman now. I was like, well, let me rephrase that. I was like, the average woman who wears her nails with nail art is not average.
Right.
I was like, yes, we can rock one color really, really well. I was like, but when you combine it with something that was inspired by some sort of textile or um fashion designer, it just completes the entire look. And it's again that final polishing touch that brings that all together. So I think it's been like really incredible to see people adding that and really pulling from the fashion industry. Not that it hasn't been done, but having more of a highlight in recent years is absolutely incredible. So
Yeah, I most definitely agree with that. Now, within terms of like your favorite nail medium, what has been like your favorite nail mediums to work with when doing nails or nail art?
Um, doing nails, I'm really into a structured gel manicure. I have been loving Luminary nail systems for several years now, and it's honestly like by far like my staple for most of my clients. A nail sister down in San Jose whose product I've been using, and she's been a nail tech for over 20 years. And she recently was just like, here, I want you to try this. And it's called Juliana Mariah Beauty. And it's probably the best hard gel like system that I've used in all of my years. So as far as extensions go and stuff like that, and all of my clients who are extremely hard on their nails, that's what I like to use for them. And as far as nail art goes, for a while, I really liked the whole watercolor look. I think I'm going to experiment again with that. I just got these watercolor pens from Zillabo, and I haven't played with them yet, but I'm excited to. And I personally love playing with chrome, like chrome powder, chrome flakes, and just trying out different applications of it. So
yeah, most definitely. Like I'm a person that's like into like gel polish, but mostly when it goes down to nail art, I'm like an acrylic paint person. So I like adding layers and stuff like that. And you could do it with gel paint too, gel pots and things like that. And I also like the gold nail powder. I think that's very cool too. I can't go wrong with gold.
right.
That or like silver, you know?
Yes.
So that's the thing, you know. And I also like to work with like fine line brushes when I do like detail and stuff like that. You know, I love doing characters. So that's like my whole entire thing with my favorite mediums. Now, what is your whole take in terms of the whole progression of the nail industry from how you first got into it to now?
It's definitely expanded so much. I mean, I know I had seen people doing character nails like from the start. I mean, I'm almost 8 years into this nail industry next April, and to see where we've gone, even just from like cure times where it was like, okay, well, you have to wait for 2 whole minutes for this like one layer to cure, versus now, like I think to 20 seconds. Or even just like flash curing nail art, just learning some of those like little techniques to really improve your timing, where things would just be like, okay, this is going to take me 5 hours to maybe like 2.5 hours now. So timing is and materials have definitely expanded, and just what else has expanded? I would say 3D art has really gone through the roof. I played a little bit with it. I'm still a little intimidated by it because you always have that fear of like, okay, I'm going to put this 3D art on somebody and hopefully it doesn't fall off.
Yeah.
And I would always just apply stuff with acrylic, but with my face, like I can't use acrylic at all because of the smell. And so just trying to find like different mediums to actually attach charms or 3D elements to people's nails and praying that they don't fall off has been a fun challenge. So
yeah, that's the thing. Like with this whole nail industry, I feel it's evolved a lot, you know. And I started getting into nail art when I was like 14 years old. And so like just seeing this whole evolution of the nail industry, the products, the UV lamps, the gels that's out now. And I love working with also 3D gel. 3D gel is amazing. Better than working with acrylic. Like how you said, it has a huge toxic smell. That smell, it just protrudes everywhere. And the thing is also too, like, I like how a lot of nail artists are preaching about nail education and how important that is. And there's a lot of classes you can take now to pretty much improve your artistry. Also, if you need help with like gel extensions, acrylic extensions, and things like that. So there's a lot of sources, a lot more sources that are out there now in terms of how you can improve your nail artistry. So in terms of work and daily life, how do you find that balance between like, you know, balancing working, you know, doing people's nails and everyday life? Like, how do you find that balance?
boundaries are a huge thing. I made sure that I turned off all of my notifications for all my social media. So I don't actually see any of them at all until I actually open my app. Like for me, it gives me too much anxiety to think about like picking up my phone and seeing a notification through like Instagram or Facebook first thing in the morning. I also recently started working out just to help with like my mental and my physical health. And I consider that to be a huge part in being able to do nails long term. And for my mental health, I've been seeing a mental health professional for probably close to 5 years now, and I see them regularly. Because we're all fighting battles that nobody can see, but
Mm-hmm.
to try to manage it as best as possible. So, and that's how
Yeah.
I balance life.
Yeah, I think that's very important. I think, I'm glad that with our generation, we're talking about mental health and how important that is, because I think that when you have an open gate to talk about like what you go through, I think that gives a good amount of release, but also too, it brings awareness about how mental health is important and how it's important to support one another, especially through the tough times. I think that's definitely very important. Now, how would you define success?
Um, let's see, how would I define success? Just being happy with the life that you're living. I mean, I know not every day you're going to get up and be like 100%, but know that like you're better than you were yesterday. Um, and I'm somebody who has battled with my depression and anxiety for years. And there are definitely days where I'm like, I don't want to get up, but being committed to yourself and following through with your commitments is considered success to me.
Yeah, most definitely. I agree with that. Sometimes like, also too, self-care is very important too. That helps you maintain being successful, but also to like having that work ethic. So I think also too, it's okay to take breaks and things like that. And also too, like how you said, it's good to take care of your mental health because that's very important too. And if there's times that you need to rest, then do that. But also there's times where you have to sometimes push through and just work as best you like, do as best you can, do the best you can, and the rewards come down the line. So that's the
Oh,
thing.
it was like
So,
all those up to taking care of yourself. And like,
mhm.
long as like I say, let's say last week, I really challenged myself. I was like, I'm going to get up and go to the gym like 6 times, like last week. I made it 5 out of 6. And I was like, you know what? I still made it 5 out of 6 and I still showed up for myself. Like nobody else was pushing me except me. And that's also really important in this business, is that knowing that you're the one who pushes yourself because you're the one who sees the results. And overall success. So
Yeah, most definitely. The only person that can improve you is you. So yeah, most definitely. That's very well said. Last but not least, where can people find you on social media and how can people support your work?
can find me at SF NOMA on Instagram. I do have my Facebook page as well, but I'm not super active on there. I did start a TikTok, but I am definitely not part of the TikTok generation. I have yet to even attempt to do some sort of recreation of all the TikToks that everybody's done. I'm just like, I don't think I was built for that, but I definitely enjoy seeing everybody else's stuff. And that's also under SF NOMA. And as far as supporting, like, if you know somebody who needs help, like growing their business or just learning how to do nail art or just foundation in general, send them my way and I'm more than happy to help teach them and help them grow through their career. That's definitely where my passion has lied in this last couple of years, is watching other techs grow and helping them create the lives that they want for themselves. So
Yeah, most definitely. Very well said. Well, thank you so much, Kristen, for jumping onto the show. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and your story. I love how you were very open about what what you're going through and things like that, and it inspire people like to be human, and to
Oh,
be themselves, you know what I mean? So, thank you so much for being open about mental health and how important that is. And yeah, just thank you so much for jumping onto the show.
thank you for so much for having me.
Well, take care.
You too. Have a good one.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to click the bell for notifications. Also, follow me on my social media platforms and visit my website, ASIATHABIRD.com, and be on the lookout for more interviews to come very soon. Take care and stay beautiful.